Welcome to Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon. I'm your host, Captain Matt. Today, we're doing a pontoon review on the Trifecta 21 RFSS. So let's take a look at the numbers. This is a 22-foot, 3-inch boat. 8.6 on the beam, which is your standard pontoon beam. The max horsepower with a 150 on a two-toon and a 300 horsepower on a tri-toon, which this is a tri-toon. The fuel capacity, 27 gallons, 25-inch diameter tubes, which is kind of your standard tube size. And your gauge is 0.09 mils, which I believe that's the case. I was not able to verify it. Trifecta does not have much information on their website when it comes to the stats of their boat. I would say it's a mid-level boat, and this boat falls into that category. So the history of Trifecta, they started in 2016, owned by Forest River Marine Division, which also owns South Bay, Berkshire, and Trifecta. Now, from my experience and my inspection, is these boats are nearly identical. If you were to take off the nameplate, you could probably find the sister company's brand or the sister's company model that is nearly identical. Other than a few branding things and a few minor details, they are nearly identical. Forest River also owns a bunch of RV brands: Coachman, Dynamax, Forest River RV, Palomino, Shasta, East to West, and Primetime RVs. And they were acquired by Berkshire Hathaway, the Warren Buffett company, in 2005 and built in Middlebury, Indiana, where almost all RVs and pontoons are built somewhere up in that area. A lot of aluminum work there. Warranty, this is from some research I did on South Bay, their sister company. There is zero information on the Trifecta warranty online, which is, I don't know if that's worrisome or not, but the only thing they have warranty information on is their new composite flooring that they use, and that's actually the manufacturer that builds their warranty. So this is the Trifecta that I actually inspected in person at the boat show. A good-looking boat. They've got some nice rails, some different lines on it, which make it look a little nicer. They've got the blackout package with the blackout rails and the blackout bimini top. If you like that, I myself like a lighter color. Just no reason to attract extra heat when you're out on the water, and that stuff does get hot. But to each their own on the aesthetics. So here's what we're looking at. This is the Trifecta our 21 RFSS. You can see all the options here. We'll take a look at the actual pricing at the end of the video as we go through everything. So the layout, you've got 2 couches up in the bow. You do not have the backrest, that lounge rest, which I think is really nice, but it does open it up by taking that out. So it's a little more open, but you don't have the ability to lay up in the bow and put your back towards this area and your feet up towards the bow, watching where you're going. Same thing on this side, which is unusual. On most pontoons, you're going to have a lounge seat right here that you at least can do that. So that's, for me personally, that's a big downfall, but it does allow you to get another cup holder in there, and there probably are some benefits to some people depending on your boating style. Then the double captain's chairs, which, again, my favorite layout is this one right here, the center walkthrough with the double captain's chairs. You can see the captain's chairs here. These are upgraded chairs. I'll show you another image of them, and then you can see the rear, the center walkthrough with a table mount here. This is the access port that's going to give you access to your fuel lines and your or not your fuel lines, I'm sorry, your electrical, your shift cable, your throttle cable, all of that. And then you've got your seating there, big subwoofer built in, and this is another little better picture of where the table mounts there. A nice table mount. I always like to look at those and see, is that something that's going to get a toe stubbed on it, tear a nail off, or something like that? And that's a good one right there that's just got that little section, which probably isn't going to cause any problem. You can see the seat bases here with the seating. We'll take a look at some hinges here in just a little bit. If you haven't watched the over 150 videos on the channel, everything that's going to help you if you're in the process of buying a boat or a boater, you've got the Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon Toolkit you can get, the articles on the website, boatbuyersecretweapon.com, and the podcast if you want to check that out. And again, a look from the cockpit up to the bow, and you can see it's nice and open. But you do miss out on those lounge seats. So looking at the helm, a really nice helm. They've got their Simrad built in right here. Your gauges with your speedometer, your tachometer, your speedometer are all right there as well. And that might be a trim gauge. I'm not sure if that's the fuel or the trim. And then your switches for all of your electronics. So your lights, your stereo, your anchor navigation lights, and then you have your stereo head unit here. They've got a charger and a couple of charging stations right here, so you can snap your phone in there and charge it up. And then your Mercury throttle controls are right there as well. A pretty nice job on the helm. It looks good. You do not, from what I see, do not have a cup holder. So there's no cup holder here on the helm. There is one up on the front, and there's one on the front here, but nothing down on the side either from what I remember. This boat rated for 10 people, 1,435 pounds. Again, it is whatever comes first. So if you got 10 people in the boat that are 100 pounds, you're at your limit. If you've got 7 people on the boat that are 200 pounds, you're at your limit. And you can see this one is rated for 200 horsepower, which is different than what they show on the website. So that's interesting. I wonder if this had something, a different tube package that was not listed, or if that's just the wrong moniker. Looking back at the engine well, we'll take a look at some of these welds here a little bit later, but this is the round section that they do, which is kind of uncommon. I don't know if that's because of the composite flooring, but then you have the ski tow bar, which is mounted through that composite decking, and you've got a nice solid mounting there, and a nice rub rail, finish rail right there. So looking at the hinges, I'm always somebody that likes to look at the little things on a boat, especially a new boat. It's going to tell you how some of those things that you can't see. A decent size hinge, it's not huge. I would like to see a little bit more. But one thing they do that I like is they put this covering plate over the speaker. So you've got your speaker that's going to be shooting out into the cockpit here, but that speaker's got wires running to it, and it's real easy for your gear to get there, rip out a wire, and a speaker then doesn't work, and it never just pulls it right off. It always ruins that wire, and you lose the music for a day, and you got a pain in the butt to repair. The other thing that I like to look at on the seating is the actual upholstery. So let's take a look at the upholstery. I give it a kind of the pinch test, see how well it holds its form, check those seams. Are they double stitched? Are they single stitched? How tight are those seams together? Are they something that's going to come apart? And they also have this texture surface, which gives it a nice contrast. Overall, I really like this upholstery. Good, solid seamsmanship in there. And one thing to remember when you're cleaning your pontoon, whatever you get, is don't use anything that's abrasive that's going to damage those threads. That's a lot of what happens. A magic eraser, harsh chemicals can cause real havoc on those threads and make them deteriorate prematurely. So just remember that. We also have the U.S. Boat Expo, which is kicked off. If you're looking at buying a pontoon or any of these boats in the next 12 to 24 months, you definitely want to check that out, usboatexpo.com for all the details. The ladder. To me, a ladder on a pontoon is real important. Getting on and off the boat, or if you've got somebody that's a little bit larger, a little older, not quite as nimble like myself, it's nice to have a good ladder. And this is a real nice one, a stainless steel, 4 steps, so it's going to go deep in the water. A nice wide base so that when you're grabbing, you can actually get some leverage. Sometimes when they're a little closer together and not very high, it's tough to get that leverage and get all the way up. So I think they did a really nice job there. They've also got a real unique tower, kind of a cool looking, sharp looking tower. It's got the little kind of spiky things there, but it allows you to pull somebody from this pylon here, and it's nice and durable. You've got it pulling back, and this is going to give you a good angle to leverage down onto that flooring versus pulling those bolts out. So I think that's real well done on this Trifecta. Another look at the hinge, and again, I think this hinge could have been done a little bit better, a little bit more heavy duty. You can see it's got the 3 screws here, 2 there, and 2 on that side. I would like to see an extra hinge on this, I think. But you do have the channel for the water, the rotomolded plastic right there. So overall, not too bad on that. This is the upgraded seat that I was showing you from the front. It looks kind of like your standard seat. From here, it almost to me has an office chair kind of look to it, where that exposed plastic is right there. It was a comfortable seat. It was real comfortable. Just a different look, something that I believe is an upgrade on this Trifecta. Looking at the in-floor ski locker, you've got this little gas assist strut. There's one of them here. They've got the table in. They've got the mat that's going to keep your gear from sitting in the water, which is nice. And they do also have this seal around the outside. So you're actually going to get somewhat of a seal there that water's not draining in, but more importantly for me, water's going to get almost everywhere on a boat. More important for me is it's not going to rattle. To me, rattles on a boat drive me insane. And having little things like that, little details like that, keep the rattles down to a minimum. Looking at the bimini top, a pretty good thick sturdy bimini top with stainless steel attachments, which is something I always like. I don't like to see plastic on the bimini where it's going to attach to the fence rail. So this is well done there. And then I mentioned the Welds. When you're looking at tri-toons and you're looking at having a 150, a 300 horsepower outboard there, hey, that thing's going to be under a lot of pressure. So I like to look at how thick gauge that aluminum is. Does it go straight across, or do they actually put a bend in it to give it a little bit more strength and structure? This shape is going to be stronger than if that flange went just straight out. And then I also like to look at the welds. You can see the weld going all the way through here. That's a nice, clean, good-looking weld, and I like how that's set up on this engine compartment, or engine pod, I guess. One thing that they're doing is in 2018 they started using this composite material. So 3 years ago, they've got 2 solid years of running it. They say it's 40% lighter, 2 times stronger than marine grade plywood. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I haven't done any research. I don't really know a whole lot about this material other than I've researched the company that's building it. They're saying that because it's a solid one sheet of material, it's going to be stronger for the boat, which agree with that 100%. Easier to apply, agree with that for the most part. It's going to be more rigid. They through bolt it and bond it versus just screwing it down or bolting the plywood. To me, that method has been standing the test of time for 20, 30 years. And with the 7-layer marine grade plywood that manufacturers are using now, almost everybody except for veranda, the flooring is really rock solid. You're not seeing rot. You're not seeing mold in most cases. And it's a good platform. This composite material, my concern is what happens if it starts to deteriorate and it gets a crack in it. You have an issue. Now that whole middle section of your pontoon needs to be replaced. You got to pull all your furniture off. I get concerned. They do have the limited lifetime warranty on it, which gives you some level of confidence, but I am not one to go out and do the newest thing. I like the tried and true. Let somebody else be the tester. They've got a name for those people, but go out and be the first one to do it. My opinion is, hey, work the kinks out, especially in boating. I would stay away from the first generation of anything in the boating industry, at least for the first year or two. They're on the third year now. Haven't heard any negative comments on it from dealers or boat owners out there. Just something that you want to ask a lot of questions about before you move forward. Looking at the structure, you can kind of see that composite material there. They do have the through bolts there. You can see the M brackets. This is where they attach the pontoon. The M brackets are welded, and then they put the beams or the cross members, whatever you want to call them, and then the composite material, they're bolting that composite through the beams, and those beams are then bolted to the M brackets. Now, the M brackets, I like to see them go all the way down, which is going to give you a little bit more sturdy structure with that brace going all the way down on both sides of the pontoon. There's one on this side, and there's one on the outside of that tune. It may be because of the composite material, they feel they don't need it, but that is something that I would prefer to see, that M bracket all the way down on a tri-toon. Looking at the hardware of the cleat, you can see you've got your 2 screws there, and what I do like about it is they're going through that rub rail, and then through the composite material, and then they're also backplating it with this huge backplate. A lot of times you'll see them use a small washer or a big washer. This may be because of the composite material. They can't just use a washer. That may cause a problem, but this is about as strong of a cleat as you're going to find, going through the rub rail, the composite material, and then that plate, and then being bolted with a nylon threaded washer. Again, this is a look at the actual boat that I inspected. A good looking boat, a well done boat. One thing about the nose cone, it was a good shape. It didn't have a finishing piece on the splash guard. I didn't get a good picture of that, but there was not a finishing piece on the splash guard. So if that gets nicked up, it could get a little jagged and a little bit sharp. But overall, a well-built boat, just in line with the South Bay, in line with the Berkshire, in my opinion. I don't see too many differences between them. And let's take a look at the actual pricing of the boat. Oh, we missed the pricing. That with the 150 Yamaha, you're at $69. It looks like $659. They've got a $9,200 discount at the boat show, and $60,451 is the total. That's no trailer, but with all the options you see on this particular boat. So there we go. $69,659, $9,200 discount, $60,451 is the price on this boat. Remember, you can get your Boat Buyer's Toolkit at boatbuyerssecretweapon.com. You also get it free at the US Boat Expo, usboatexpo.com, and you can go learn more details there. If you enjoyed this video, you like these reviews, hit that like button. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and YouTube has recommended some videos for you. If you own a Trifecta, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your experience with it, how they've been, how the warranty process has been, and all that. And remember, life truly is better on a boat.